Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Monday, the 26th of October. Dozens killed as 7.7 magnitude earthquake hits parts of South Asia. Stranded deaf and mute Indian girl returns home from Pakistan, fails to recognize family. And India's Kashmir Valley receives season's first snowfall. And now for all the details. Diplomats from 54 African countries are in the Indian capital to attend the third India-Africa Forum Summit. The meeting is aimed at deepening the spirit of partnership, strengthening international solidarity, and expanding cooperation between India and African countries.
Indian capital New Delhi is playing host to the third edition of the India-Africa Forum Summit, which is being attended by around 2,000 delegates. In a historic first, all the 54 countries are coming together for a meeting outside the continent. Trade ministers from India and Africa are looking to make common cause at a World Trade Organization ministerial meeting in Nairobi next month. The summit will also address key challenges facing Africa, which includes food, health and environmental security. India hopes to create conditions that stimulate trade and investment flows between New Delhi and African countries.
It is an effort that India is rolling out the red carpet and is putting its best foot forward to engage with all of Africa.
The four-day event will have meetings between senior officials, foreign ministers and country heads. Many said the event would help in giving a major push to the existing ties.
We would work to bringing about a positive, the true picture, not only positive, but the true picture of both countries. This will help us to forge people-to-people relationship. Today, government-to-government relationship between India and many African countries is excellent. Business-to-business relationship is also flourishing. But what is missing is people-to-people relationship.
India's trade with Africa has grown considerably in the last 15 years and stands at $72 billion in 2014 and 15. India also has made investment in various African countries to the tune of around $35 billion.
Stranded in Pakistan for over a decade, deaf and mute Indian girl Geeta arrived in New Delhi on Monday and was given a warm welcome by Indians, fascinated by the story of a young girl who has battled all odds to return home.
After accidentally straying into Pakistan and then living there for 15 years or so, Geeta, an Indian national, came back to India on Monday. At the airport was a family whom she had identified as her long-lost Indian family, but now says that they are not her parents. The Mahato family says they will go through a DNA test because they are sure she is theirs.
तो अभी गीता उन्हें पहचानने से इनकार कर रही है। वो कह रही है कि ये मेरे माता-पिता नहीं हैं। लेकिन चूंकि डीएनए टेस्ट के लिए उनका रक्त भी जा चुका है और इसका भी जा चुका है, तो डीएनए टेस्ट का हम अभी इंतजार करेंगे, क्योंकि हो सकता है इतने पहले बहुत बच्ची थी जब गई थी, शायद थोड़ी शक्ल बदली हुई लग रही हो.
Geeta is currently at a hotel in Delhi with the people who took care of her in Pakistan, the administrators of the shelter that was her home in Pakistan.
मैं आज शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ सुषमा स्वराज जो हिंदुस्तान की फॉरेन मिनिस्टर हैं, पाकिस्तान की फॉरेन मिनिस्ट्री को और तमाम अगेन पाकिस्तानी मीडिया और इंडियन मीडिया, चाहे वो प्रिंट हो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक हो, उन्होंने हमारा बहुत साथ दिया इसके घर वालों को ढूंढने में.
Geeta's story was mirrored in an Indian film recently where a young girl strays into Pakistan accidentally but is brought back home by an Indian national. Bajrangi Bhaijaan was a box office hit and generated a lot of interest in Geeta's case. It is still a mystery as to how Geeta wandered from India to Pakistan over a highly militarized border.
Parts of South Asia were hit by a 7.7 magnitude earthquake on Monday. The epicenter of the tremors that was felt across northern India, Pakistan and Afghanistan was Faizabad in the Hindu Kush mountain range of Afghanistan. More than 80 people have been killed across Pakistan, while over 12 people have been killed in Afghanistan. The death toll is expected to further go up as search operations are still on. Monday's tremors comes months after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit the region, killing over 9,000 people, mainly in Nepal. Pakistan troops continue to target border posts and villages in India's Jammu and Kashmir for the third consecutive day on Monday. 6 civilians have been injured in the unprovoked firing so far.
Pakistani troops targeted 30 posts of the Indian Border Security Force on the international border in Jammu and Kashmir. They also resorted to heavy shelling which destroyed dozens of villages. The incident has sent a wave of panic among the residents, with many fleeing the area.
इतना फायर हुआ कि हम बता नहीं सकते आपको 300-400 गोला पर जहां पर हमारे गांव के अंदर पड़ा हुआ और इसके बाद हम क्या करेंगे अपने बच्चों को कहां छोड़ेंगे हम कल शाम को 1-2 गाड़ी बच्चे छोटे बच्चे तो भेज दिए पर जहां पर इतने पॉपुलेशन है कम से 500-700 आदमी है जहां पर कैसे हम रात निकाली वो हमें पता है आज 4 दिन हम सोए हुए.
The ruling Bharatiya Janata Party said Indian Army is giving a strong reply to the unprovoked aggression from across the border.
रेंजर्स के कमांडेंट्स को समझना चाहिए कि जो भी फायरिंग होगी उसका अच्छी तरह से जवाब दिया जाएगा. ये मैसेज उल्टा पड़ेगा उनको, उसका जवाब माकूल तरीके से दिया जाएगा.
The line of control and the international border has been witnessing heavy fire exchange for the past couple of days, shattering peace in the region. Analysts believe that Pakistan troops are resorting to unprovoked fire as a cover for militants who are waiting at the border to infiltrate into the Indian side before the harsh Himalayan winter sets in.
Baluch activist Ahmar Mustakhan, who disrupted Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's speech in the US, said he did it to highlight the human rights violations by the Pakistan Army in Baluchistan. Pakistan has been suppressing the voices of activists and national leaders who have been fighting for the independence of the mineral-rich province for decades.
The idea behind disrupting Pakistan Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's speech in the United States late on Friday was to bring to the attention of international community the atrocities committed by Pakistan, Ahmar Mustakhan said. I hope my small, minute contribution will reach the ears of thousands of Baloch martyr families. My voice was also meant to expose Pakistan terror in Afghanistan and war crime in Balochistan, Mustakhan said. Prime Minister Sharif was heckled by Mustakhan while he was addressing the US State Institute of Peace in Washington. The Baloch activist, who called Prime Minister Sharif a friend of Bin Laden, demanded independence for his province from Pakistan. Last week, Baloch leaders had also held a demonstration outside the White House against the genocide in the province. Activists claim that over 15,000 Baloch youth and nationalist leaders have disappeared under mysterious circumstances from the province in the last 1 decade. They also accuse the Pakistan Army of carrying out military operation to end the decades-long demand for independence. Baloch people say their homeland was never a part of Pakistan and it was illegally annexed by Islamabad in 1948.
People in Pakistan-administered Kashmir observed Black Day to denounce Pakistan's occupation of the region. It was on 22nd of October in 1947 when Pakistani forces in disguise of tribal militants attacked India's Jammu and Kashmir and occupied parts of the region.
People hit the streets of Pakistan-administered Kashmir to mark the 68th anniversary of Pakistan's invasion of the region. The day is marked as Black Day in Kashmir on both sides of the border. An anti-Pakistan rally was held in Muzaffarabad, the capital of Pakistan-administered Kashmir, demanding complete freedom. In 1947, the tribal militia with the strong backing of Pakistan Army had attacked Kashmir, killing innocents and plundering the region. The Indian Army had then stepped in to protect the people after the then ruler of Kashmir, Maharaja Hari Singh, signed an instrument of accession with New Delhi. Pakistan Army, which was then pushed back, continued to occupy some parts of Kashmir illegally. Locals claim that since then Pakistan has been exploiting the natural resources and putting an iron curtain over the occupied region.
Moving on to news from Maldives. The Maldivian government has said that it has not taken any decision over impeachment of Vice President Ahmed Adib. He was arrested for his alleged involvement in an assassination attempt targeting President Abdullah Yameen last month.
Maldives President Abdullah Yameen has appealed for calm in the country as political tensions are high following the arrest of Vice President Ahmed Adib. The president has also ruled out immediate impeachment of Adib following his arrest. Adib, who was appointed as President Yameen's deputy just 3 months ago, was taken into custody on Saturday over suspicion of having links to an explosion on Yameen's speedboat. President Yameen had escaped unhurt while his wife and 2 aides suffered minor injuries after a blast on his boat while they were returning from Hajj. Though initially it was reported that the explosion happened due to technical failure, Maldives had appointed a group of international investigators to probe the matter. Earlier, the president had dismissed his defense minister and police chief in connection with the incident. The arrest of Adib is the latest in a series of political crises in the Indian Ocean island nation, which became a democracy only in 2008. The country's first democratically elected president, Mohammad Nasheed, who was arrested earlier this year for the terror charges, is currently serving a 13-year jail term.
Meanwhile, in Nepal, the ethnic Madhesi community is continuing their protests along the India-Nepal border. The community has been demonstrating for last 2 months against the adoption of the new constitution, which divides the homeland into 2 federal provinces.
The political crisis in Nepal refuses to die down as hundreds of Madhesi protesters continue their protest. The agitation turned violent as they clashed with police. The Indo-Nepal border, which is a vital link for the supply of essentials to the landlocked country, continues to be blocked by the protesters.
इसीलिए हम अपने अधिकार के लिए जा रहे हैं नाकाबंदी पर वहां पर नाकाबंदी करेंगे और जब तक हमारा ये नेपाल सरकार हमारा हक नहीं देगा अधिकार नहीं देगा तब तक हम छोड़ने वाले नहीं हैं हमारा जो भी कुछ भी चल जाएगा धान जरेगा कुछ भी हो जाएगा लेकिन हम अधिकार लेकर ही छोड़ेंगे
Nepal had adopted its new constitution last month after years of deliberations and postponements. But the charter, which was expected to bring political unity in the country, has only widened the split within various groups in the country. Minorities like the Madhesis complained that their grievances were never addressed. The continuing protests have posed a tough challenge in front of the newly elected Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli.
India's northern Jammu and Kashmir received the season's first snowfall on Sunday. The winter season sees a huge footfall of tourists from all over India and across the world to the valley.
Kashmir woke up to a white blanket on Sunday as the province saw the season's first snowfall. The ski resorts of Gulmarg are buzzing with tourists as they took to experiencing snow. The hill stations presented a heavenly sight, leaving the visitors mesmerized.
और अगर ये कहा गया कि पैराडाइज ऑन अर्थ है तो सच में ये पैराडाइज ऑन अर्थ है और यहाँ पे मैं रिकमेंड करूँगी सबको आना चाहिए एटलीस्ट एक बार तो आना चाहिए और एक बार के बाद जितनी बार भी आ सकते उतनी बार आना चाहिए बहुत अच्छी जगह है
पहली बार आया हूँ
जी सर
और कल ही गुलमर्ग पहुँचा हूँ सुबह मॉर्निंग में स्नो देखी फिर ऊपर कंगूरी कहा जाता है ना कंगडोरी आया तो यहाँ भी स्नो बहुत ही बढ़िया.
The Kashmir Valley, which is one of India's tourist hotspots, witnesses huge inflow of tourists throughout the year. And one of its main attractions is the snowfall which the tourists await for eagerly. It is considered a paradise for climbers, skiers, honeymooners and filmmakers drawn to the soaring peaks.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Dozens killed as 7.7 magnitude earthquake hits parts of South Asia. Stranded deaf and mute Indian girl returns home from Pakistan, fails to recognize family. And India's Kashmir Valley receives season's first snowfall. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.